Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, please don't forget to click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the Star Trek news on YouTube. Today I'm talking about a few pieces of information that have come to my attention that maybe by themselves don't mean too much, but when you add them all together, add up for some possibly very interesting casting news about characters we might end up seeing in Season 2 of Star Trek Picard. A couple of tweets and some information by a couple of ex-Star Trek The Next Generation alumni that have recently made some comments via tweets and via a few video and social media platforms that might very well hint to what legacy characters we might end up seeing in Season 2 of Star Trek Picard. There's some really interesting clues here, and I think if maybe we read between the lines, we might be up for a big surprise. But before we get into that, here is a very, very quick sponsored message. Giant monsters or dragons have always been a staple of science fiction, from Star Wars' Krayt Dragon, Aquae, Sarlacc, the Wampa or the Rancor, or in Star Trek, the Gormagander, Trace Worms and Tardigrades. Which brings me to a fun, free-to-play mobile game for iOS and Android called Dragon City. Feed and train your dragons, level them up, and take them into battle. There are hundreds of different dragons to collect. You can even breed 2 dragons to get new ones. There are different PvP modes where you can fight in real time against your friends, and events every week to discover and play new adventures. If you click the special link in my description, download this free-to-play game, you can even get a special exclusive reward in the form of 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the Fire Knight Dragon to get you started in the game. So be sure to check out Dragon City. It's free to play on iOS and Android. Link in the description below. So very recently, Jonathan Frakes, who likes to occasionally give us a little bit of hints about what's coming up in the Star Trek universe, because obviously his finger is well and truly in the Star Trek pie, not only from the director's chair, where he directs episodes of Discovery, Picard, and he's going to be directing episodes of Strange New Worlds, as well as obviously appearing as Riker in the first season of Star Trek Picard. He recently tweeted an image that didn't have any kind of caption attached to it. But this image was quite interesting in the sense that it contained himself, LeVar Burton, and John Delancey. You might ask, why would he just randomly tweet this image? It didn't have any caption attached to it. It was taken a couple of years ago as part of a promotional photo shoot for the 30th anniversary of Star Trek The Next Generation. So you might ask, why would Frakes be tweeting this just random image which contains himself, LeVar Burton, and John Delancey? Well, there are certain restrictions towards cast members and also crew members in the Star Trek production team, where they obviously have to sign NDAs and they can't go out and blather and spoil information and get information out there about what's going to be in the new season. But there's sort of a grey area that they can operate in, and I almost think that this could fall into that category. Now, Jonathan Frakes has openly said that he would very much like to return in the acting department to portray Riker once again in Season 2 of Star Trek Picard. And we already know from a video that came out earlier last year with LeVar Burton say that he was essentially, I think it was more than just in talks. I think he was pretty much saying, almost sort of confirming that he would most likely be in Season 2 in some capacity.
Sure, what the hell? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it?
You'll see us all.
I did a video on that last year, so if you're interested in watching that, please click on the link up here and you can check that out. We know Whoopi Goldberg's in Season 2 of Picard, but there was always a little bit of a question about whether Q might return. At the end of last year, John Delancey did a video for a fan using the Cameo social media or promotion platform. I'm not sure what you'd call it. It's where people can, pay actors and stars and so forth to send messages and greetings, birthday wishes, that sort of stuff, from celebrities to their friends and loved ones. And somebody got John Delancey to do one of these Cameo messages. At the time, he said in this Cameo message that Q would be returning to Star Trek.
Oh, and by the way, here's a little stocking stuffer. You're going to be seeing more of me.
And at the time, I think everybody kind of passed it off as being a reference to his involvement with Lower Decks. Because those of you who've watched Lower Decks know that in the last, or a couple of episodes before the end of the first season, there was an appearance by Q in Lower Decks. At the time, I passed that off as being, oh, yep, he's just referring to his voice appearance in Lower Decks. However, that cameo message was recorded after Lower Decks had been recorded or had gone to air and so forth. But because it happened after Lower Decks, I think this is a very strong indication when you combine that with the recent photo that Jonathan Frakes tweeted with him, LeVar Burton and John Delancey, seems to imply that there's a very good chance that not only Geordie Forge will return in season 2 of Picard, but also we might get to see Q. The other piece of evidence that kind of leads me to believe that Q might be returning in season 2 is the fact that we know for a fact that Whoopi Goldberg is returning as Guinan. And we know through multiple episodes of Next Generation where Guinan and Q were in the same episode, there was definitely a history between Guinan and Q. They were kind of adversaries. Guinan had some run-ins with Q in the past, before Q even had any dealings with the Enterprise and her crew. So I think that history between Guinan and Q is certainly an untapped resource. We've all heard about it. They've referenced it before. When we heard about that in, I think it was Q Who, I think was the first time that got revealed, we all thought, oh, what is this history between Guinan and Q that had them at such odds, and that, Guinan's going into this sort of, aggressive posture, with Q, and you think, what is she going to do? Is she going to bloody zap him with some laser fingers or something? Who knows what's going on? So there was definitely an interesting backstory there that hasn't been told before. So I think when you combine the presence of Guinan, when you combine the great dynamic between Q and Picard, Jonathan Frakes' tweet, and also John Delancey's comment in the Cameo website, I think we very well might have some very interesting antics to look forward to. I think the dynamic between Q and Picard has always been a really, really strong element of Next Generation. Q's obviously been there right from the first episode of Next Generation. He was in every single season, sometimes more than once. The relationship with him and Picard is always such a entertaining one in terms of the screen value and the rivalry that they've got going on, and the little snarky comments that are always fired back and forth between Picard and Q. So I think everybody would really love to see that pairing up once again. Now that Patrick Stewart has his second COVID shot, they're back into production now. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. Would you be really keen to see Q again in Star Trek Picard? And do you think all of these little clues add up to something much bigger, that we might just be on to something here? And also don't forget to click on that link down the bottom for Dragon City, where you can get the special exclusive reward for Dragon City. It's a very fun game. Check it out. Don't forget to like, to comment, to share, to subscribe, guys, to check out my merchandise. I will see you guys next time for my next review.